I don't know that I'm a great leader, but I keep showing up, and I try and be nice, and that actually doesn't come natural to me. I've actually had to reflect about maybe maybe I was that guy guilty of sending the wrong emails 15 years ago, and so learning about, oh, that didn't work too well. And I don't know. And then just as I began to interact with more people, once I ran for public office, and I realized, the guys that were friendly, or the people that were friendly, uh, well, they left a good positive impression. And then, it's just that simple. Try and show up, be dressed, and be nice.
You just heard from this week's guest, Edwin Jones. Of course, everybody calls him Eddie. He's a husband, a father, an attorney, and a McCracken County Commissioner. We talk about leadership, life, and how to connect with the younger workers in your office. Here's my conversation. Commissioner Eddie Jones, welcome to Leadership Magnified.
Thanks, Todd.
Before we kind of jump into some of my prepared questions, for people who maybe know your name or, oh, he's the attorney or he's on the fiscal court, who is Eddie Jones? Where are you from? Family, kids, stuff like that. Fill us in.
All right, I'll give you the short answer. So grew up in Western Kentucky, went to law school, attorney, been in Paducah about 25 years. I'm married to Jenny Hines. That turns out to be a bigger deal.
The judge.
The judge. I practice law at a firm called Bell, Stouffer and Graves. I've been there for about 25 years. And I serve as a county commissioner for our county.
Okay.
I love that job.
As county commissioner, just broadly speaking, what are some projects that you think are just really taking off right now that you're proud of?
So I'm in 7th year. So let's talk 8 years ago. There was no new airport. It's done. Now we have new service. I don't know, make it bigger deal than it was, but that was a project that was, it was in a stall. No pun intended. Actually, maybe the pun is intended. That was waiting just for attention, and it needed some money. You remember a guy named Todd Inman? I think.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
He was working for the Department of Transportation.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
McConnell's
DOT.
wife.
I do remember that.
Yeah. And so he was in a good position somebody introduced me to him, and he said, dude, get this going. And so I was part of that. A lot of things were already happening before that conversation, but that started taking off shortly into our first term. And, a whole community of folks worked on that. And that's been a good success. Obviously, the sports field. When I began to get interested in local government, my daughter was playing volleyball, and the building called the Sportsplex was for sale.
I remember.
And I was concerned, where are the girls going to play volleyball? Where are we going to host these tournaments? That's about to go away. And I ran for office and won, and started looking for searches to that problem. And now they play in the Expo Center. And then soccer became an obvious problem when I started talking to other parents. And next month we'll open up a new sports.
Yeah, the Sportsplex. I mean, I can remember when I moved here in 2007, people were talking about that, and that's almost 20 years ago. So to see it finally come to fruition is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But are there any projects that you wish would hurry up?
Yes. I have, and it's hard, obviously when you're running for office, back then, people needed to hear that you were going to figure out the solution to economic development and why Paducah was in a lull. And so we've addressed that, and that can be a whole another part of the conversation too. But I kept driving by Carson Park. And at that time, it's 25 acres. The city's built around it. It has a few horses. but it also had a chain link fence complete with the 3 extra barbed wire. Yeah, there it is in the middle of our town, and I'm just like, why does it look like that? And so we've improved it. We took down the chain link fence,
Right.
and the barbed wire, and we've added a horse farm fence, and it looks 100% better. But it could be more of a place for more of us, I think.
Yeah, maybe there's some opportunities there moving forward.
And to be honest with you, we haven't, elected 7.5 years ago, didn't know that the county was going to be broke. And so there weren't available funds to do things at that time to really seek a vision. And then when we did find our way, the sports park became a very big project, and just the bandwidth of having enough people to press for new ideas, it seemed to me to be the appropriate thing to talk about other things first.
The name of the podcast is Leadership. So whether it's as a commissioner or lawyer, attorney, and how would you describe kind of your leadership style, how you interact with people, expectations? How would you describe it?
Well, I don't know that I'm a great leader, but I keep showing up, and I try and be nice, and that actually doesn't come natural to me. I've actually had to reflect about maybe I was that guy guilty of sending the wrong emails 15 years ago, and so learning about that didn't work too well. And I don't know. And then just as I began to interact with more people, once I ran for public office, and I realized, the guys that were friendly, or the people that were friendly, they left a good positive impression. And then, it's just that simple. Try and show up, be dressed, and be nice.
Yeah, it's funny. I was reflecting on that with my dad, who was in town last weekend, and I kind of told him, in my mid-40s now, I'm still learning life lessons. I send an email and I think that was why did you send that? That's not me.
I think my sarcasm is very funny. Apparently, not everybody does.
Right.
And so, maybe let somebody get to know you before you show your complete self.
Well, and on this podcast, the theme that keeps reoccurring that I have found myself needing to do, approaching each individual differently, whether they see me as a leader or not. It's like I can talk one way to you, but somebody who's 25 in our newsroom, I have to talk to differently.
Right.
Because if I talk to that person in my mind, they're going to see that as whatever, aggressive or angry. And it's like, no, I'm just a down to business kind of guy in the newsroom.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying, because it really depends on the style of your communication, depends on the event. I mean, if I'm working through kind of a crisis with 2 employees, we need to do this, this, and this, and by the way, we got to get it done in 30 minutes. My conversations are a little different than it is when I say hello at the chamber breakfast, and that seems rather obvious,
Right?
But that seems simple. But the truth is, there are probably 6 different phases of our lives now where we go through where we have to change communication style every day. I don't know. I picked 6 just because that was the number on top of my head. I never really thought about it, but I just know my personality has to morph with whatever I'm doing, and the more things I change, then the more I've got to let that go.
Yeah, whatever environment you're in.
Yeah.
How leadership or otherwise, who's been an influence in your life that has helped shape who you are?
Well, I guess this is a bad place to pause, but I would say my father. Yeah, without a doubt. I didn't want to say him because I was like, oh, that's going to make me emotional. But yeah, Paul Edward Jones.
He's the one that influenced you.
He was kind.
Yeah.
And he was kind of that, he was a pastor. He was never the senior pastor. He was the friendly guy behind the scenes that made people feel welcome and knew things weren't going to fall apart. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I like that about him. Maybe I got some of that. I don't know.
You know, you probably, as you've said, you cross paths with a lot of people, different environments, different ages. What's something maybe you see now is, I'm not calling you old, but you, but yeah, a little long in the tooth.
Turns out it happens.
Yeah. But what do you see maybe in young people where you kind of look back and go, I wouldn't interact that way?
Oh, yeah, they have so much. Well, this generation has so much more information than I ever did. I mean, they don't have to go to the encyclopedia and read it. I mean, it's at their fingertips. I mean, the amount of information that just comes to them in text and a video. I mean, they really do know a lot. And it turns out they kind of follow a culture that, well, maybe there is a reason to ask a few extra questions every now and then and not believe everything we've been told. And so they've got this, well, they are, I find that generation, and I say that generation because I deal with this generation daily, right? I'm a
Mhm.
dad. They're incredibly curious. They know a lot more than me. And I think they're going to have to learn to pause a little bit and realize they don't know it all yet. I don't know. Did I just say that? I sound really old.
I
for
know,
saying
and the older I get, it makes sense. But no, my interactions have been, it's like, it's okay to take a breath.
that.
It's okay to say, I don't know.
Right.
Let me try and find out the answer.
Yeah. Wait for the investigation.
Right. Or sometimes I've noticed younger people, they feel like they have to have the answer, so they'll just say something. And it's like, well, if that's not the accurate piece of information, let's go find it. In any company, I'm not talking news. I'm just, you don't always have to have the answer. You can go find it.
Yeah, I guess that's just kind of a crazy connection of that's where democracy and the internet meet. I mean, this is where we are because of that.
Yeah. Before we started recording, you kind of mentioned it, but and we can cut it out if you don't want to. But you've been a commissioner for a long time. Are you wanting to seek any higher office, or what do you see your future role in leadership, government?
Well, I will say this: I have loved being a county commissioner. I like showing up. I like saying, "What about this? What about that?" And helping try to find the right group community decision. Um, so I, I don't want to be done doing that because I really do enjoy it. But I'm not going to seek. This is my third term, and
Any other office interest you?
oh yeah, all of them. I like public service, and we'll just see where I am in life and what comes open. But but no, I feel like it's time for a new set of ideas to be as the commissioner for my district.
Either whether it's before the primary or afterwards, are you going to go public with endorsing a candidate for judge executive? I know that's a very loaded question right now.
Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but I sit between two very big guys that are both seeking that job. I mean, I can either get a backhand from the left or a backhand from the right. I don't think so. I think I'm going to be willing to work with whoever the public chooses. I think everyone knows that Craig Clymer and I have been friends. We had a chance to practice law together. I don't know that he's particularly proud of that moment, but I am. And I've enjoyed my service with him. I've really enjoyed getting to know Richard Abraham. I don't know Matt Moore as well, but he seems like a nice guy. And I'm glad that he's interested in public service. And, of course, George Bray. I've enjoyed working with him as a mayor. So I'll work with whoever wins that race.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. Like I said, we keep these podcasts relatively short so people can listen to them on a commute or
Right.
when they're getting ready in the morning or whatever. We'll move away from kind of your public service and leadership, and we pull back the curtain, kind of showcase more of your personality.
Okay.
So
Good luck.
each person I kind of approach differently. So for you, I'm going to revert to something that I haven't done with the last couple of guests, and that is to ask you 10 questions based on a list of French journalist and interviewer Bernard Pivot. Some are one-word answers, so don't overthink it. We'll just run through it. Are you ready?
I'm not clever and I'm not good at this.
You don't have to be clever.
Okay.
All right. What is your favorite word?
Word?
Word.
So.
What?
So. I start a lot of sentences with
So. Okay. What is your least favorite word?
Can't.
What inspires you creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Outdoors.
What turns you off?
Somebody that seems to know it all.
What's your favorite curse word?
Damn it.
Damn it. What sound or noise do you love?
The wind. I have a sailboat.
Okay, that makes sense. Wind. What sound or noise do you hate?
That chalkboard, remember when we were kids? Yeah. Nobody knows that anymore.
Right. Nails on a chalkboard does not resonate with people.
You got to be over 50 to get that.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Counseling. There's that whole other thing we haven't talked about. So,
Okay. Counseling.
maybe addiction counseling.
Okay. What profession would you not like to do?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a doctor.
A doctor.
Yeah, it's too individually scary. I like the public decision.
And last question, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
You made it.
You made it. I like that, and we'll leave it there. Eddie Jones, thanks for being on the podcast.
Okay. Thanks for having me.
And that's this week's show. If you have a suggestion on who I should interview, let me know about it. Email tfaulkner@wpsdlocal6.com. Shoot me a message on my Facebook fan page or on X. My handle there is @tfaulknerwpsd. Video and sound by Senior Executive Producer Morgan Regal and Chief Photographer Mason Watkins. Editing by Brian Clapp. Until next week, stay safe, friends.